I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and we will roll. All right, well, welcome to the Division 8 meeting and clinic, general meeting, business meeting, and clinic for, let's go in here, for July 25th, 2020, virtual as usual. It seems to be our life these days. So, call to order, of course, just a couple of housekeeping notes here. We just turned off all the audio for everybody. You do have the ability to turn it back on, but we prefer that you use chat, of course, to make motion, second motion, and ask any questions. Ron is monitoring the chat as usual. As always, keep it nice in there. We'll take a 5-minute break between the business meeting and the presentation. That'll allow us to switch over from my PowerPoint deck to Jerry's deck. And as you all know, Jerry Albers is the featured clinician today. He's got a clinic for us on DCC, and if everything goes as it did during our rehearsal a week ago, we'll actually get a tour of the layout as well, which would be way cool. Even if you've been there, seeing it again and again is really great. And I do have the meeting recorded. Yay! So we'll have both the business meeting and presentation online on YouTube next week. So if you have to drop out for some reason, something happens, and for those slaggards who did not attend today and have something else to do, well, they'll still be able to see it as well. And it is interesting, during this week's board meeting, we took a look at the stats for both Facebook and YouTube, and it's pretty surprising how many folks are checking into both the Division 8 YouTube and Facebook channels. We had about 60 folks, 20 to 60 folks, depending upon how far you go back, tuning into clinics and business meetings over the last year or so that we've been doing this. So that's pretty cool, and good stuff, kind of extending it. So Zoom, of course, we've done this enough. I think everybody's good with this. If you've got a question, holler at us, holler at me, holler at Ron, even better during the meeting. Okay, so welcome, yay. We have one new member, Lisa Helton. Don't think the Heltons are online, but yay, one new member in July 2020. So welcome her aboard if you see her around online or something. And need a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as posted to the Division 8 website. And Ron, I'll let you watch chat. Hopefully someone has made a motion to approve and someone has made a second. Do we have that? Here we go. Well, Eric gave a second. I don't see anybody making a motion though. There we go. Bill Edwards motion to approve and Eric second. And I didn't do the poll this week, so just look into your camera and wave your hand if you say aye to approve them as posted. So just wave, okay? And anybody nay? Okay, everybody still got their hands up. So anybody nay? No, all right. Rick Tipton nay, all right. So Rick and I will talk later, find out where he had an objection to the minutes, and otherwise it passes. Let me go back to my share real quick. I kind of like doing it that way, Ron, actually. You know that? Joe Fields, you're up, sir.
All righty. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this.
All you got to do is talk, because you were on the screen and
okay.
Spotlighted your video.
Okay. We of course did the thing in the parking lot last Sunday where everybody finally got all their certificates, and the 2 master model railroaders received their plaques and certificates and so forth like that. And so we're kind of all caught up in that department as far as handing stuff out. Did send Fred's civil paperwork into Frank. Haven't heard anything back, which I probably won't till beginning of next month, because he don't look at them until the 21st of each month. But I don't think there should be any problem with that getting approved. So Fred will have another certificate under his hat when that comes in. I finished up another model myself for my scenery certificate. It's a church building that Walters puts out. It's the brick church building they put out. And I'm pretty pleased the way it turned out. My wife did point out that it's got a little handicap ramp on there, and she says, "What area are you modeling?" And I said, "The 50." She says, "Well, they didn't have handicap ramp." I said, "Well, this is the first one that they've built right after World War II, you know." So that's why I'm getting way around that part. But anyway, so that's another structure that I've got completed. I've almost got all the structures completed to really get down to the nitty gritty with the scenery part. Other than that, that's about all that's going on in my life.
Well, I understand,
as
Joe.
always, yes.
Joe. I understand
Yeah.
someone just got their certificate for Master Builder Motive Power.
Oh yeah, I got my Master Builder Motive Power certificate, and I guess I'd already gotten the civil one as of the last meeting. So anyway, that gives me 6 out of the 7 that I need. So the scenery is the last one that I need. That's not to say I might work on something else after the 7th one, but building a layout takes a lot of time, as everybody knows. It's building one, so I've really been concentrating on this a lot more than what I normally do on model railroading as far as building stuff. But anyway, that's part of the fun of it, and I like. Brian wanted to know what I was doing with all the people. That's what I did with the gift certificate that I got for first place. And I says, I'm populating my my scenery scene here. So the church has got little wheelchairs and, you know, all kinds of little things going on with it. The preacher standing on the front stoop and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, it's fun to put people around and kind of make the scene come to life. Other than that, like I say, other than that, if you got something you need judged, we'll work out something. Even with the pandemic going on, we can, you know, get together cautiously and get stuff judged and different things like that. So just give me a call, email, and we'll take it from there, or I'll take it from there once you get a hold of me. And I guess that's about it for today.
Thank you, sir. All righty.
You're welcome.
Yeah, move on to contest. I did not see Barry come in. Ron, did you see Barry come online?
I'm on.
Oh, there he is.
I'm on telephone, and I do apologize. I'm having really bad computer problems this afternoon. So if you guys could give the results, I'd appreciate it, because I can't access my computer today. So. Oh
man. You must be Bob Dawson's brother. Bob almost didn't make it online today because he's having computer problems too. All righty, so
must be a virus.
There you go. Well, I will talk through some of this, and Ron will talk through some of that. How's that, Mr. Ron?
Thank you.
All righty. So the July 2020 contest, you know, we've started a contest again, with a practice contest, as everybody should know by now. We've sent out enough emails about it. I'm going to let Ron talk about how well the process went, but before we get there, let's talk about who won this thing. And remember, this is a practice one, not for points in the overall contest. August will go live. So honorable mention, Rick Geertz. And the reason we're doing honorable mention is, unfortunately, when Rick submitted his caboose photos and write-up, it didn't go to the right email address. We didn't figure that out until we'd already started the voting, and we learned a couple things with that, so we're gonna tweak this a little bit, and hopefully that'll happen. But yay, Rick! And if you didn't see that, this was Rick's entry, an abandoned, well, not quite an abandoned caboose, but pretty much an abandoned caboose sitting out there with a lot of graffiti and so forth on an unused piece of track. So yay, honorable mention. Third place, there was a 3-way tie: Bob Frankrone, Ron Ellison, and Stan White. And because you didn't know who submitted each one of those, we'll show you real quick. Bob Frankrone's was that awesome white Sioux caboose. Ron Ellison's was the pretty much out-of-the-box SP caboose, the one holdout on his layout, instead of flashy rear-end devices. And Stan White, of course, was the first responder caboose from NS down on the bottom. Second place was me, with this ancient Santa Cruz and Felton caboose. If you read through the write-up I gave, you probably figured out that this was completed years and years and years ago, when I talked about airbrushing this with Flow Quill. and using dry transfers to put all the lettering and numbering on this caboose. Yeah, this was actually a 1981, 1982 project when I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, between courses there. So anyway, and first place, Joe Fields with this L&N Woody caboose. Wood, weathered. So yay, good stuff. All right, Ron, I'm going to let you talk about this after this slide. So next month is maintenance of way equipment and highway equipment. The contest starts for real with points accumulating throughout the year in August. Okay, so August is for real. And then, of course, September, October, November, and so forth for the rest of the year. Ron, if you'll take a couple minutes and talk about how the contest went, the practice contest, and any changes we're going to make going forward.
Yeah, there were just a couple of bumps in the road or bumps on the track, maybe. One person couldn't determine that you need to go back to your email in the case of Groups.io to vote. You can't vote in the PDF that shows the pictures and the descriptions of the contest entries. So you must go either back to email or back to Groups.io post and vote there. The other thing I want to mention is that if you make an entry, send your entry to the Division 8 Gmail address, we will always acknowledge the fact that we received your entry back. And so if you don't get an acknowledgement back, there could be a problem receiving your entry. So be sure and, if nothing else, pick up the phone and call me so we can make sure we include everybody's entries. There's a technical issue that one person told me that he went on to the website to look at the PDF document there, and that all he could see was last month's contest. And that's something that can happen due to cookies, and not the cookies that we snack on, but computer type cookies. So if that ever happens to you, all you need to do is refresh the screen in your browser. Everyone should, in theory, know how to do that. Is a problem with our website, and with other websites, it's not just ours. But if that ever happens to you, you don't see the correct content, just refresh your browser. And I think that's it, Fred. Overall, I felt the contest logistics went pretty well.
Cool beans. Thank you, Ron. Oh, the other thing I should have said when we were going through first, second, third honorable mention is those were all the entries. There were no other entries. So what was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries. So a good showing, and hopefully we'll have a ton more next month. All right, so there you go, and moving right along, Ron.
Oh yeah, Celebration Station. What a fabulous day. It was a little toasty out there, but we certainly enjoyed seeing folks, and we enjoyed passing out all the celebratory awards that we did and got those into the hands of the people that deserved them. And we moved some sanitizer as well. So we call it a successful day. And we're thinking about having another event, basically just a sanitizer event, an inventory event. We'll think up a better name for that closer to the time in September to get your fall sanitizer up to stock. So keep in mind that it's there. And if you need some sanitizer in the meantime, we'd be happy to ship you some.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm putting something in chat for, there we go, for Mark Hedge. He had a question about how many MMRs there are in Division 8. And the answer is, it depends upon how you count. And if you go to that page, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's in chat there. All righty, sir, thank you. Today, Jerry Albers, yay, from Cincinnati Group, things I wish I'd known about DCC, gonna happen right after we finish this. Next month, we have two events as usual. We have a gathering on the 8th of August, Saturday, 8th of August, again, always at 2 p.m. Paul Downs will be showing some of the work he's been doing during the shutdown, during the lockdown, and specifically he's going to show a lot of the scratch building he did with shotgun houses for his layouts. Steve Lasher, Russ Weiss, the last I heard, they're going to be here to show some of the signaling that they're doing, putting in on Russ's layout, although that may change by the time we get to August 8th. And I'm going to show you some work I've been doing here on the layout with a little Australian piece of electronics. It's pretty cool. I'll hold that for later. And then next month also, Ed Swain will be online with us to show us a Pennsylvania Railroad lift bridge he's been building on the layout. Russ, Ron, Rob Cooper and I saw the beginnings of this, what was that, a year and a half, 2 years ago when we did that big layout loop up there. Might have been even more than 2 years ago. No, it was last year. That's right, for swoops last year. So good stuff. Staying connected as always, about Groups IO. We've talked about that today. The Facebook page is pretty active, and of course the website if you want to look at some information there. There's a lot of background information there. That was where I got the link. Mark asked about how many MMRs are in Division 8, and there's a lot of other good information on there as well, such as the minutes from each meeting. And that is our business meeting. So I'm going to do a quick back to basics presentation. Of course, that is part of our new meeting agenda that we started a few months ago, back around April. So I'm going to do a quick one here, and this time the topic is going to be rail nomenclature, or parts of a rail. It's not as simple as you might think. When you start talking about pieces of rail, you kind of have to say, are we talking about now, then, way back when, or way, 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 way back when? If you've been to Midway, Kentucky, there is a R.J. Corman caboose there, and just in front of the R.J. Corman caboose is some strap rail, which is kind of interesting. And ask Bob Dawson about that. He will give you a really good description and a little bit of history about that. Yeah, there was some strap rail here as well. But what I really want to talk about is here and today and right now. So this is just a quick diagram of basic piece of rail that you might find out there today, or if you're looking at your layout, which is where I am, it pretty much looks like that as well. So those are the basic pieces, and it's take a look at the URL at the bottom of this. It's trackguy.com, trackwork_101.htm. Go to trackguy.com. There's more than enough to keep you occupied for a couple, 3 days if you're interested in reading about rail. But think about it. On the top, there's the head, the base. In the middle, there's a fettled or minute fishing. I've always called it a web. Most of you know, if you've been reading my almost daily emails that I send to Groups IO about videos to watch. One of my favorite guys is the fish plate guy from Australia. He is a hoot. Some of the videos I don't show you are not safe for work, so I don't share them with the group, but they are some of the better ones. But he talks about, and he's a real live one-to-one railroader, works for, I think, Queensland Rail System in Australia. But he calls it fishing. Okay, whatever. Okay, and of course we call what goes underneath the rail, between the rail and the tie, a tie plate. At least that's what I've always called it, and the Australians call them fish plates. It's a little bit different terminology, but the three basic parts: head, web, base. They're not all the same. They're not all the same. But you know what? When you get to model rail, it's not all the same either. And I did not realize before I started building this layout in this basement how different some of this rail is. The height is basically the same. As you go across this top row on the spreadsheet, you can see basically code 100 says it's 1/10 of an inch high. Code 83 is 0.083, code 70 is 0.07, and so on and so forth. That's what the code essentially tells you. And extrapolate on, code 40 is going to be 0.044, okay, 40 and so forth. It represents, in theory, this pound, this size, whatever, of rail, and then here's typical use and so forth. What's interesting, though, is it ain't all the same. I'm using code 83 primarily in the basement, but the width of the head, remember, the width of the head is just a little different between the rail I'm using for the turnouts, which, you all know I'm building using the fast track system, and the rail I'm using is from Microengineering, but the flex track is Atlas. Oops, the head is a little bit different. Not a lot, but when you're mirroring those up, going through a yard, going through a crossover and so forth, you've got to really be careful to make sure the inside really lines up very carefully, because it's just a micron off. Joe Fugate, or Fugate, whichever you prefer to pronounce, has done a recent series on that, actually. And I'm not hawking his book here, okay? Not hawking his book, not promoting it, but he's got a new book out on track work. And in there, he has done a lot of research, and he's got several tables in there that will tell you exactly where the different model railroad manufacturers differ in width of head, width of base, and so on and so forth. The height is always correct, though. He said, take a micrometer and check it. It's always the same from one manufacturer to the next manufacturer, the width of it that makes it a little bit different, which also makes it a challenge when you're trying to marry up the base of Microengineering track to Atlas track. Oops, it's just a little bit different, but you can make it work. So that's it. A real quick back to basics on rail that you might find out there today and find on your model railroad. And that concludes our business meeting and little back to basics. So with that, any questions about what we've covered so far? Any comments, historical allegory? Otherwise, we'll take about a 5-minute break. It's 2:28 right now. So if I can do high order math, 2:33, we will begin with Jerry Albers. Might not take that long, but that'll give everybody a time to go get something or not. For me, I'm already set. I have my snacks right here. I have my chocolate chip cookies. Yay.
Oh,
How about that, huh? I'm good to go. All right. So Jerry, you ready, sir?